are counting down to the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. All month long, we've been showing you the unexpected ties the D.C. area shares with Italy. Today, we're learning more about a local community that was once home to many Italian immigrants in Northern Virginia. Jummy Olabanji spoke with a local professor about this history, and what she has to say may surprise you.
Well, we continue to count down to the Milan Cortina Olympics and Italy's ties to the D.C. area. Now, did you know the area that we now call Potomac Yards tells the story of Italian immigration? For more on this, we welcome in University of Mary Washington Professor of History and American Studies, Dr. Kristen Moon. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, so I love this story. Now, you know, when I think of Potomac Yards, and I grew up in Northern Virginia, it's the area where we have Target, Total Wine, Barnes & Noble, Old Navy, the stores.
Right, we go shopping there.
We go shopping there. But how do Italian immigrants help tell the story of Potomac Yards?
So actually, it even predates Potomac Yards.
Wow.
In the late 19th century, groups of Italian immigrants came and built railroads in Northern Virginia. But when Potomac Yards opens, which is the largest transportation hub for trains on the eastern seaboard in 1906, immigrants come and they stay. There's not a lot of them, in part because they're, of course, navigating a really complicated racialized society in Northern Virginia. But those who do create roots, family, and community here.
Wow. And so if we're in that area today, what are some things that we might not even know, the things that we might see, landmarks or areas where if we can try to put our minds back and imagine back then, you know, what do they look like today?
So there is the residue of course, the train tracks behind the Virginia Tech complex now, where you can see the Amtrak as well as the subway is back there too. That's all tied to Potomac Yards. But then other places in Alexandria and Arlington sort of point to this history, both in terms of some of our Catholic churches in the region, which would have catered to these immigrant communities, as well as there's even homes that were built by Italian immigrants in the early 20th century who worked at Potomac Yards that still stand in Delray.
Wow. And so, you know, I know you've been studying a lot of these people and these families. Just tell us a little bit about, you know, their legacy and what they leave behind. Because I know, you know, some of those families still have roots in the Arlington, Alexandria area today.
Absolutely. One family in particular, the Attilis family, we know they immigrated in 1913 and ended up settling in what was then Arlington County, but now Alexandria, and worked at Potomac Yards. Francesco Attilis, sort of the head of that family, would have a multi-generational household by the 1930s. All of his children, his wife, his father, his in-laws all lived in the same home in Delray. That family, of course, has multiple generations now, this massive family who lives in our region.
Wow, wow. And I mean, this almost kind of is a story that is continuing.
Absolutely.
I mean, we still have so much Italian influence in our area, and I know so many of them are still at those same churches, and a lot of them are excited now to show the world Milan and where they came from. I just have to ask, on a personal note, are you an Olympic fan? What sports are you looking forward to watching?
I am an Olympic fan. I love skiing. I grew up skiing. In fact, by the age of 5, we were strapping pieces of plastic on my feet, pushing me down a hill in the backyard. I also have family in Italy, in Tuscany, and we're talking about the Olympics. And this morning I was talking to some friends who live in Italy this morning who were worried about snowfall and hoping that we have plenty of snow for those skiers. So exciting.
It really is. And Dr. Moon, you do so much amazing work and research. Where can our viewers maybe find out more about the work you're doing and read more about this immigration story in Northern Virginia?
So we have I do lots of different things, digital projects, published articles, etc. But prior to 2020, I actually had a group of students researching immigration in Northern Virginia, and particularly looking at Italian immigration. There's a website called immigrantalexandria.org that my students built to share these stories. So if people are interested, they should come and check it out.
All right. Dr. Kristen Moon from the University of Mary Washington, thank you so much for coming to visit us.
Thank you for having me.
We love that campus down in Fredericksburg. Tell everybody down there we said hi.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, very cool. Well, just a reminder, NBC4 is your passport to Milan Cortina. Jummy will be there bringing you live updates of all the action and reaction from local athletes. The Winter Olympics begin on February 6th, but you can catch her live reports starting February 4th.